Nathaniel Richmond is the father of Malik Richmond, who was found guilty of rape in this case, and he joins me now exclusively by telephone. Welcome to you, Mr. Richmond. Let me ask you straight away, what is your reaction today to what happened to your son yesterday?
Can you repeat that question, please, sir?
I'm really asking how you're feeling today as the father of a young man who's been convicted of raping a young teenage girl.
Well, I'm shocked and surprised that Malik was even convicted of the charges of rape, because the evidence that the prosecution presented against Malik Richmond, there was plenty holes in it, and there was plenty reasonable doubt. And I still believe in Malik Richmond's innocence, even though he apologized in the courtroom. And I have sympathy for the victim's family, but there are some things that the media and the court knows and doesn't know.
Right. I mean, I suppose the obvious question, Mr. Richmond, is if your son is innocent, why was he apologizing to this girl's family and sobbing as he did so? Many took that to be an open, categoric admission of his guilt.
I can't speak for Malik. I can only speak for what I believe and the things that I know that wasn't presented in court that the prosecution know.
Do you feel a sense of guilt, Mr. Richmond, about the fact you were not there for your son as a father for more than a very little period of his life?
Of course, I feel a sense of guilt. I feel a sense of guilt for allowing Malik to wind up in a situation like he did. Of course, I feel a sense of guilt.
I mean, his behavior was appalling. The text messages and the social media use by him and his co-accused and by their friends afterwards, talking about this girl in a terribly derogatory manner, the way they treated her when she was, many would say, unconscious, and treating her like a piece of meat. I mean, what do you feel about that as his father? You must feel a sense of shame, don't you?
Well, first of all, they had no text messages for Malik. Let me correct that. They had one text message from Malik, and the question that was asked of Malik in the text message, he was responding to something. The evidence that they had against Malik was minimum. Malik was just at the wrong place at the wrong time. I know my son is not a rapist, even though he has been convicted of rape. Like I say, I believe in Malik's innocence, and God will make sure the truth of this matter come out. I understand the court's decision, and I respect it, but I truly believe in my heart the court has made the wrong decision towards Malik Richmond, because I know in my heart Malik Richmond is not a rapist.
And yet there were witnesses that saw what he and his co-accused did. That is why he's been convicted. We then have him sobbing in court and saying sorry to this girl's family. This is not the behavior of an innocent young man. It's the behavior of somebody who has been convicted and now wants to apologize for what he did.
Well, I can't speak for Malik's emotions, but those witnesses that testified against Malik were also prime suspects who was granted immunity, and also one of the guys who was there at the scene of the rape case when the rape allegedly occurred was never, a DNA sample was never taken from him, and there was also an unknown specimen of DNA found in the girl's crotch area of her clothes.
Mr. Richmond, let me ask you this. I understand why you would feel emotional.
Hold on.
Well, let me just finish.
Let me finish, please, sir. That one guy whose specimen was not taken, he's the only guy who was granted immunity that actually testified that he saw Malik penetrating the victim with his fingers.
Let me ask you, Mr. Richmond. I understand why you are feeling the way you do. You're his father.
No, you don't. No,
well,
you
I understand.
don't.
I understand that your emotions.
You never understand how
well,
I feel.
I understand that you're his father and you feel emotional, but I also understand your son has been convicted of a very serious offence of raping a young woman. And what I want to ask you is, what is your feeling towards that young girl who went through this terrible ordeal, and what is your feeling towards her family?
Well, I feel sorry for the young girl. I hope that she can go on and live a productive life. And I feel one day for the things that happened to her, I ask God to give her the strength to forgive those. But I also wish that one day that she would come out and clarify some of the misunderstandings that surrounded their entire case.
Mr. Richmond, thank you for joining me.
Thank you.